Hello, my name is Sherlyn Graham. I'm an occupational therapist and I work for Hertfordshire County Council. I work in adult care services with the older people's team, enablement team. So today I'm going to be reading a chapter that I have co-authored with Greenlaw. The chapter is called "It's Not Black and White, a Parallel Journey to Anti-Racist Action by Two Occupational Therapists." Now, the chapter was called this because, if you notice, it says in the title, it's not black and white. We know that racism isn't just black and white, it's quite complex. So to begin with, I'm going to read some parts of my chapter. So the first part is called How It Began. My story began in Hitchin, Hertfordshire. I'm the youngest of 9 children, raised by Jamaican-born parents who travelled to the UK in the 1960s for work and a better life. Being the youngest, I feel my parents and siblings did their best to shelter me from the racism they had endured in the place they called home. By the time I reached secondary school, it was etched in my brain that I had to work 10 times harder than a white person because of the colour of my skin. This mantra has stuck with me throughout my life. It hasn't hindered me. On the contrary, it has made me persistent and driven me to strive for the best. However, it has created in me an inner voice that constantly reminds me that I am not equal, I am black, and my efforts may not always be accepted. The next part of my chapter I'm going to read is called On the Front Line. Working with older people in Hertfordshire and being aware of the stereotypes that follow black people made me more conscious of the fact that I am a black person and many of the people I visit could be prejudiced. I was travelling to remote parts of the county where I assumed black people didn't live. I was out of my comfort zone, feeling vulnerable, and because of the colour of my skin, wondering whether I would be accepted. When visiting, I sometimes feel I have to overcompensate because I am black. I realise I always make sure I have my name badge so people can trust that I work for the local authority and I'm not there to steal their crockery or pensions. I've never had a handshake refused, but it is still always a slight relief when visiting a white household I spot a person of colour in a framed picture on the mantelpiece. So my next bit I'm going to read is called My Anti-Racist Actions. I've been trying to have conversations about racism with colleagues, but it's hard because often when I mention racism, I was responded to with silence. But to have impact, I realised I needed to join forces with others. I looked to social media to share thoughts and information with people who wanted to engage in these difficult conversations. In June 2020, I became a member of the BAME OT UK networking group, which was an open platform for occupational therapists from ethnic minorities to come together to support, learn and share. I was given the opportunity to share my experiences on a podcast called Let's Talk About Race. Now, I'm going to end the reading of my chapter by sharing my pledge. And my pledge is to continue to share my experiences and be part of anti-racist practices inside and outside of my organisation. I will use every opportunity to educate others and try to be the change. Thank you for your time and thank you for listening.